At the break of dawn, in the middle of the Arizona desert, a crowd of strangers meet for one purpose.
You guys coming out here to help me out, I really appreciate that from the bottom of my heart.
To help another stranger, a father desperately searching for his 24-year-old son, Daniel Robinson.
Since he was a child, he liked to challenge everything.
He was born with a challenge.
And I wanted to introduce him to prosthetics because he's born one hand. We quickly learned that that's something that Daniel didn't want. He let nothing stop him. He decided to be a geologist once he got into freshman year in college. He excelled that. He graduated with honors.
Daniel's first job is checking the viability of water wells in the Arizona desert.
He loved this area, of course, because of the rock formation. You're a geologist, this is the best place to be.
But the terrain became a hellscape for his dad when Daniel went missing back in June from his job site. And what number search is this?
This is search number 14.
Navigating the dangers in the desert, the Army veteran knows firsthand time is of the essence.
When I called the Buckeye Police Department, they told me that I had to wait an extra 3 hours because they had a 12-hour, report time when you can say a person is missing. Then I called them back and put in a missing person report. I got very worried. That's when I got very worried. I asked the Buckeye Police Department to go out and search that area. The officer told me that they were going to send a vehicle out there, a helicopter out to search for him. I was relieved. And then he called back an hour later and said, no, it was a no-go. I'm his dad, and he's my son. I've lost all sense of reality. At that moment, I said, you know what? They're not going to look for my son. I'm going to have to do it myself.
Before he arrived, police did decide to search on foot and with helicopters. This is the last place your son was seen?
The last place.
What do you think happened, David?
I think a lot happened here. I'm very suspicious.
But he doesn't know what. A month in, there's a break in the case, and police call Robinson.
I got afraid, actually, that it's going to be some bad news. He said, no, we just found his vehicle.
Some ranchers found it, and then at that point, we conducted our investigation and additional searches.
What was the condition of the car? If it had rolled over, it sounds like it was pretty bad.
Yeah, the car was on its side. The sunroof was kicked out at that point, so he might have exited through the sunroof.
His wrecked car in a ravine, both airbags deployed, Daniel's cell phone, clothes he was wearing that day, and a case of water all found at the crash site. But not Daniel. People don't just disappear into thin air.
True.
Does that sort of feel like what's happened to here?
Yes. Yeah, it's very, very challenging case.
No matter how much the family asks for this to be a criminal investigation, can you make that happen?
We can't make up evidence. Absolutely suspicious circumstances related to the case.
Frustrated and heartbroken, Robinson hired a private investigator. Where are we going?
Down here is where the vehicle was recovered from.
Is that the glass from the car?
Yes.
When you looked at this accident, what are the discrepancies that you noticed right away?
I believe it was in more than one collision.
What does the data from the black box of the car tell you?
That there was 11 additional miles on the vehicle since the airbags came out.
What does that tell you?
That tells me it was crashed somewhere else.
Does that sound suspicious? What explains that?
Well, we had the national expert that came in and provided us his findings, and then they ended up speaking to an expert at Jeep, and the expert says, yes, sometimes that happens, and it's not unusual.
But the data also shows someone tried to start the car 46 times after the crash.
That's something we can't explain.
It begs the question, again, the family is saying it's criminal. It's got to be he's in danger. Do something.
Right. No, I agree. But we need information. We need evidence.
He's got a lot of theories. His words, I think, were, I don't think they cared. What do you say to that?
Can be furthest from the truth.
Losing hope, Robinson began pleading for media coverage.
It literally took 3 months.
While Robinson searched for his son, the country became riveted by media coverage of another missing persons case, the case of Gabby Petito.
In my situation, people think I love our children less or something, or they're less important.
In 2020, more than 543,000 missing persons records were filed. More than 480,000 were cleared. And 40% of the missing are people of color.
There are a lot of Gabby Petitos and Natalie Holloways in the Black and brown community.
That's why former police officer Derica Wilson co-founded Black and Missing Inc. and says too often their cases go untold. Eventually, local stations did stories and citizens began helping search. Did you know Daniel?
No, I just wanted to help.
You're just helping out a stranger on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Why?
You know what? I can't imagine what that man's going through.
As the search for Daniel goes into its 5th month, another family is in the midst of a terrible mystery for a 5th year. The family of Nikki and Ariana Fitz.
Ariana is very energetic, very happy.
2-year-old Ariana went missing under the most suspicious of circumstances in the San Francisco Bay Area in 2016. Her mother, Nikki Fitz, was found in a shallow grave in San Francisco's McLaren Park, but Ariana was gone.
It breaks my heart that Ariana's not with her mom and Ariana's not with her family, but it also breaks my heart even more is that I know that Nikki wants nothing more than Ariana to be with us, to be home.
Tessa Fitz says she is convinced her niece Ariana was taken by people close to Ariana's mother. San Francisco police searched for weeks. They had some leads, but no arrests. A digitally altered photo was made of what she may look like now.
And she's 8 now. I don't want to see this in a picture. I want to see her face in person.
Should Ariana Fitz be a household name like JonBenet Ramsey?
Absolutely. Why is her case any different from Kaylee Anthony? I can tell you, the color of their skin is the only difference.
For 5 desperate years, the family has continued searching using flyers, social media, and Black and Missing Inc.
Do you think it has anything to do with color?
I try not to put myself in the mindset of the race issue with her media coverage. All I want is for there to be the media coverage for her. I think she deserves that.
The Fitz and the Robinsons want only one thing, with hugging their missing children once again.
Do you think that Ariana is still alive?
I do believe that Ariana is still alive, and it would mean everything to me to know where she is and to find her. I wait for that day every single day. I believe that day will come.
How long will you search?
Till I find my son. I have to. I mean, he's my responsibility.
Sarah Seidner, CNN, Buckeye, Arizona.
My name is Daniel Robinson. I attend AC Flora, and I'm planning to major in geology at College of Charleston.
Good job.
Daniel Robinson went missing 4 months ago. This is the last photo his family has of him. He's a 24-year-old geologist, last seen leaving his job site in Buckeye, Arizona.
As the Gabby Petito homicide case garners national attention, another young person has been missing for nearly 3 months, and his family is desperate to find him. 24-year-old Daniel Robinson, a geologist, was last seen on the morning of June 23rd, leaving his work site in the desert of Buckeye, Arizona.
David Robinson had only one thought on his mind as he drove the nearly 1,800 miles from his South Carolina home to Phoenix.
I had to find my son.
You start kind of interviewing the people in the circle, or you go out to the side, or what happens?
Well, that is a long trip. You know, you can imagine I'm doing everything from the car while I'm driving, talking to coworkers, to his company, to the police department, trying to get things done while I'm driving. Once I made it to Arizona, I did get a call from my auntie from Philly telling me that the police department was putting a Phoenix Firebird, it's called, it's a helicopter called a Phoenix Firebird in the air. I was relieved, but I was right there, so I'm like almost 3 days later. Once I got in town, the first thing I wanted to do was start my own investigation. And one of those things was to talk to the only person that saw my son last.
I have to think that your training in the Army had to have helped something. I mean, is it a grounding for you? I mean, I know that the love for your son certainly pushed you, but something about being in the military must have helped you.
It did a lot. One of the things that I learned when I was in the military is that we never leave a battle buddy behind, and that's no matter what. We were not leaving a soldier behind, and so my son, he's my son, and I'm definitely not leaving him behind. That's thank you. And I'm gonna continue to fight for my son. Thank you for joining this morning's Q&A. My name is David Robinson. I'm the father of geologist Daniel Robinson, who was missing on June 23rd of last year. My son, a geologist, a scientist, a very bright and brilliant young man, graduated from the College of Charleston in Charleston, South Carolina, where he decided to come out to Arizona. He landed in Phoenix, Arizona, right out of college. Landed his first job working for a company called Matrix New World, also called Matrix Southwest Groundwater, where they hired him on as a field geologist, also called a hydrogeologist. On that job, he's responsible for going out to different well sites all over Arizona to check the viability of those wells. One of the most important things about his job is to check those wells to make sure they are producing 100 years of water, at least 100 years of water. Those wells have to be put in the communities that's been put out there in the desert. Each community have to have those wells put in, before they can actually be built. So his job is very valuable for that, and also to make sure the water is drinkable. There's his company checked the rock sediments and things that comes out of that well. That's the reason why they hired geologists. They're an engineering company. On June 23rd, my son went out to 2 well sites. He went to one that was east of the last well site. He did a job roughly around 7 o'clock that morning. From there, he called a worker from a company called Weber to get the location to where the second well site is. The worker said that my son arrived around 9 o'clock that morning out there on Sun Valley Parkway to meet him on that road. From there, my son had followed him into that desert. They had to go a mile west, and then they had to go 2 miles north to get to this well site. Once they arrived at the well site, they had about a 10-minute conversation. Some was about the weather, and the other is about leaving to close the site down because of rain, and to say get some rest and things like that. According to this worker, my son gave him a waved all to him, got in the vehicle where he was never ever seen again. This worker took it upon himself to try to go locate Daniel. He followed the tracks. By doing so, he followed the tracks. He stayed left of those tracks to make sure he didn't disturb them. And he made it to a gate where he continued on the search. He made sure he stayed left to those tracks so he wouldn't damage those tracks, because he knew that the police department would become looking, and also that this thing would become national, that my son is missing. He made it through that. He made it through that gate. He went another mile or so to search for my son. He got to an area where he got out on foot. He got up on a big high incline of a hill. He to make himself so he could see from afar, see if my son is out there. If he can see him from a distance, see his vehicle. He also painted some routes of red paint so he can show officers where the tracks led to. Since then, my son, like I said, hadn't been seen. Almost 30 days later, on July the 19th, the vehicle appeared in this ravine right here behind me. Right there on the side, it was damaged. There was 2 impressions on the windshield. There was the sunroof open, and also there's a missing window in the driver's door. Outside the vehicle was my son's clothing. Everything he was wearing on his body, it appears to be everything that was wearing on his body, was what I was told. Is all in a pile, from his underwear down to his socks. About another foot away is the safety vest, and also his boots. One boot is tucked under the vehicle. The other is on the other side of the vehicle where the wheels is. The story that I was given was by the rancher who found the vehicle. Said that the vehicle wasn't there 2 to 3 days prior. And the reason why he know that is because he was out there. He was at that scene. He was out there in that ravine where the vehicle was found, that 20-foot ravine. He have cattle. He's a cattleman, a 4th-generation cattleman. He comes out there to track his cattle. He's a tracker. He track the cattle that comes down that ravine. The cattle utilize that ravine to make it down to a corral that's south of this location here. And when he came out there, that 2 to 3 days prior, the vehicle wasn't there. His cattle didn't come through yet. So on July 19th, he came back to see if his cattle made it back through there. And lo and behold, the vehicle's there. He said when he saw the vehicle, he thought whatever happened to the person in that vehicle must have just happened. Because the first thing he noticed about that vehicle was that it was very clean. The wheels are very clean. And he said it appears that it just happened. So he went to check himself, and also the other workers that was with him. They went out a little bit yelling for this person to come back to the scene. Maybe they can help. After a while, he started noticing that this is the vehicle that was on the local news. And he decided to call the Buckeye Police Department, where he reported this vehicle. When he reported the vehicle, he gave them the tag number. Once they gave him the tag number, he said, yes. They said, yes, this is the vehicle that it was looking for. Once he got the information gave the information to them, they said it was coming out to the scene. He sent one of his workers out to the gate, the same very gate where my son followed that worker in. He made it out there. They made it out to Sun Valley Parkway with the authorities. They waited for 2 or so hours before they showed up. He said he felt a little tight because when they came in, they wasn't in a hurry. They was nonchalant. They was really slow moving and things like that. One of the first things he told me is that he had to change one of the razors. The officers came later with a razor. Razor is a vehicle that is used in the terrain. Once it was a white razor they came out with, the wheels was one of the wheels was flat. He had to change that tire for them. They also came out with a drone, and there's another lady came out to take photos, and that's probably where these photos right here, one of the photos right here behind me, came from. took the pictures of the scene. He said seemed like she took 1,000 pictures. She took so many. Took a lot of pictures, but they didn't do any type of forensic stuff. He also told me that later on that day, he was out there with those officers. There's only a few of them. He said it was only about 5 or 6 of them. And later on that day, after they put the drone in the air, they also brought a cadaver, some type of dog. He said it wasn't a cadaver dog. It was some other type of dog. But that dog came at 10 o'clock at night. Once the dog came out there at night, they went out about 30 minutes with the dog. And they came back because they said the dog was being stalked by a mountain lion. And that was pretty much the end of the search. He said there wasn't no helicopters there. There wasn't all the stuff that was told to me later. On July 20th of 2021, I got alerted by the Buckeye Police Department that indeed my son's vehicle was found. Of course, I was disturbed at hearing that news. The only thing I was worried about is that they find my son. He quickly told me, "Hey, we got the vehicle, but we don't have your son." That was devastating to me because I can give care about a vehicle, but I was more concerned about my son, what they're going to do to find my son. He explained to me that they put cadaver dogs out there. They put tracking dogs out there, and they couldn't find anything. They said they've been searching for over 20-some hours out there in that desert. I'm searching for my son. He explained to me that they had low-flying helicopters where you could low-flying helicopters out there. They had, like I said, tracking dogs and also cadaver dogs. And they say they came out empty-handed. They couldn't find any footprints or boot prints or anything out there to find out my location of my son. But they did invite me to the police department for a briefing. I asked them why they didn't tell me the day before, on July 19th, when the vehicle was found. The detective told me they didn't want to disturb my sleep. I was really uptight by hearing that because I had been on the ground doing my searches out there near that well site, searching for my son with volunteers for weeks. Just out there, just sitting out there every day almost, worried about my son. And they decided to not let me know when the vehicle was found, almost over a full day, when they found it on the 19th. Once I got to that police department, I spoke with Detective Biffin. He met me in the parking lot. He was armed with 3 things. It was 2 maps and 1 picture. With those 2 maps, he showed me the location of where the vehicle was found on that map. He said it was out in the desert, and it was in a remote area of the desert. And he showed me how the distance of how it would be from that Sun Valley Parkway. Once he started pull a picture out, the 1 picture he had, he explained to me right here on the ground here is your son's clothing, everything he's wearing on his body. He asked me, say, do your son wear boxers or briefs? I told him I wouldn't know that. My son is a grown man. He said, well, everything on his body is down to his underwear and his socks was on the ground in a pile. Inside the vehicle was his cell phone, and outside the vehicle, his wallet was in his pants. There was his work laptop inside the vehicle also. He explained to me that they didn't believe. He said the good news is your son has not sustained any injuries because there was no blood in the vehicle. And also we believe that he had a seatbelt on because the way the seatbelt's locked and, it keep him from, he had the seatbelt on. And but they said we believe he had a head injury, a severe head injury, and he kicked his way out the sunroof. And because of that head injury, he went through explain to me with a head injury, we get a brain injury, it causes you to want to shred your clothes off because you become hot, and it make you want to shred your clothes off. We believe that he shredded his clothes off and he walked off naked and hid under a tree to cool off somewhere. And maybe he succumbed to his injury or some wild animal could have got him. From that point, of course, I was very devastated. Had to get myself together. He decided to take me to the location where the vehicle is at. I thought I was going out to the scene here to see this location. I followed the detective out, which is on a few blocks away from the department where he helped me in the parking lot, and we made it to a police compound. Once we got to that police compound, he took me. He got out the vehicle. He had a gate on the side of the building to let me into the back. Once I got through that gate, before I get to the back area, he slowed down. He stopped me. He said, "Hey, I've seen things like this before. We've seen things like this before." There was a time a family thought a lady was missing, and it turns out that she just wanted to be away from her family. and she became a nun. And he said, I'm not totally saying that about your son. He said, maybe he decided to leave you, your family, and wanted to join a monastery and become a monk. I didn't know what he was saying at this time. I was so in tune to seeing this vehicle. I was really afraid to see the vehicle. Once we got to the back of the compound, he put some combination in the gate. He opened his gate, and there was a whole lot of wrecked cars out there. I didn't know how to identify my son's vehicle at the time because I'd never seen it before in person. Once we got through that gate, he pointed out and said, hey, that's your son's vehicle over there. That took me. It took me really hard. It was really hard to see that vehicle for the first time. Y'all have to imagine, right before my son went missing, we had plans for me to come out to Arizona in July and to see his sisters and himself. We was all going to have a time together. My son wanted to show me his vehicle. He's very proud of that vehicle, and I was going to ride in it. So when I saw it at the moment, that's all I could think about. It was really hard to see that. So I was stunned. I couldn't move. I was devastated. The officer said, hey, go over there and open the vehicle. Go ahead and open the doors. Go ahead and look inside. I couldn't move. I was just stunned. So he walked about 3 feet away from the vehicle. I followed him, and he said, go ahead, lift those airbags. Go ahead and look in. I could not move. I could not touch that vehicle. But he was very persistent for me to do so. But he decided to take upon himself and lift the airbag that was sitting outside the driver's window. And he lifted up. He said, point out some things. He said, go ahead and look in. I still was stunned. He opened up the back door, and he said, he just opened the door. When he opened so wide, I did get to see something that's sitting on the seat, which was an NYPD bag. I said, what is that? He said, I don't know what it is, but whatever it was, I can't remember exactly what was in it, but he dumped all of the contents out on the back seat and said, go ahead, look around. I told him, hey, look, I had enough. I don't need to see anything else. Then that's when he proceeded to tell me, well, Mr. Robinson, if you don't get the vehicle out here today, you have to get it towed out here. If you'll get it out here today, we're going to have it towed out to a store, we'll have it towed out, and you would have to pay a storage fee. At that moment, I was so devastated. I couldn't get my thoughts together. I begged him and say, hey, look, man, I just need to can you give me a few days? Give me at least about 3 days because I'm not from Arizona. I don't know where to take this vehicle. I had to contact the lien holders. My son is still making payments on that vehicle. So he after a brief time, he agreed with me to give me 3 days. In that time, I was able to look at that picture, but at the same time, I already had in the workings a meeting with Chief Hall from the Buckeye Police Department, and Chief Sanders and the rest of the whole entire police department. After he left that scene, of course, like I said, I was able to go home. When I went home, I was studying that one picture that they gave me, and the first thing I noticed was exactly how this picture is. There was no forensic markings on the ground. I'm not an expert, but I do know that movies like CSI and some of these other things I see, they always put these little yellow markers on things when they're taking pictures to identify where things were located and found and things like that. That's proper, I believe, protocol for detective work. So that let me know that there was no forensic work done on the scene immediately. And I just had the one picture to work by at the time. So went ahead and decided to go ahead and mention that in this meeting because I had a meeting, like I said, in the workings already before my son's vehicle was found with Chief Hall, so I can ask them all the questions I had about my son's case because I was doing my own investigation too. Once I got into that meeting, I brought a brother from the NAACP and to be an observer, and also I recorded the meeting with these officers. In that meeting, I was told by these officers that because I asked a question to why was there any forensics work done on the vehicle. The answer was because there was no blood found in the vehicle. How you know no blood was in the vehicle is my question, because I do know that they have different lightings and different ways to find out if people wipe up blood and things like that, right? They did not have an answer for that. Asked them how they know that my son was even driving the vehicle. He didn't do any forensic work. How you know it? Well, it's his vehicle. It's obvious that he was driving. Was the answer that I was given by Detective Hanneman, Sergeant Hanneman. And also that Chief Hall was kept constantly saying things about these pictures with a plural. He kept using the word plural, but I only had one picture to go by. I said, where's these pictures with this plural? I had cut them off. He told me that eventually he told me he would give me copies of those pictures. That's where this picture right here came from. Part of that copies of pictures they gave me. They were going to give me every picture they have. They end up doing that. Also, I asked for a police report, and I also asked them to do some forensics work on that vehicle. I asked for fingerprinting to be done, which they end up doing the day after or the next day after that. I can't remember exactly, but in that meeting, I asked for those fingerprints to be done because there was no forensics work done on the scene. After that point, I also, like I said, asked them for a police report, and they said, Chief Hall told me they have a partial report to give me immediately, which they did, gave me a partial report, but it's not completed yet. The detective will have it complete by the end of the day, and he will send me a copy, which they did. They sent me the rest of the pictures they claimed they had, and they gave me the final report. They said they have no more leads to follow, and this is the end of the case for them when it came in terms of my son. So at that point, once I left that meeting, Detective Biff asked me to meet him at the front. I told him I was parking the handicap spot in the front of their building, and he said, I'll be back around that corner in a minute. I waited out there for him. He got out of his truck. He had these evidence bags, and he asked me where I need to put them. I opened my trunk up, and he put them in my trunk, and I did not know what to do with these evidence bags. It was everything that my son, everything you see here at the scene here, was in those evidence bags. It was his clothing, his boots, cell phone, the work, his backpack with some things. All that stuff was given to me immediately. They was done with my son's case, is what I was told. So I wasn't satisfied with everything I heard. There's a lot more was said in that meeting. I wasn't satisfied with what I was told. Of course, that alerted me to get, and also the explanation what they believe happened to my son, especially with the monastery part of my son becoming a monk. I decided to get my own PI, which I ended up getting. He's accident reconstructionist, and that's when things went the way it needed to go. The next time I heard a investigation or anything about my son's case is once the Petito thing happened and this case started going national. And that's where we're at now to this day, where there's now a so-called investigation without these things, these items. I still have them, the clothing, the vehicle, the airbags, you name it. That's why I asked you guys, I'm working really hard. I'm tired, I'll be honest with you, working really hard out there in the desert, try to keep my searches going. And for my son, because that's the last place known where my son was located. Also, because of things wasn't done on the scene here, trying to find ways to get the forensics work done. And also at the same time, trying to make sure I keep awareness, be here doing things online in terms of having this Q&A, for instance. Like I say, pushing out the flyers, going out there to flyer distribution outside of the desert. Walking out, passing out these flyers in the airports, so wherever we go, travel, anything, to try to make sure I get awareness. You guys have been championing for that too, also for everything. So the whole network of everything that's doing just to find my son is there is reason why I asked you guys to help me with the funding and things like that, so I can get the forensics work completed on this vehicle for most things and everything else in the clothing. Also, there's a reason why the search is on pause right now because of funding. We'd like to keep those searches going, and we will be getting those back up. As you know, you guys, I'm putting all those out right now. I also have a foundation that's here now. We're working on that, getting those things off the ground there, where we can help fund this operation for my son, and also be able to help other families. So you guys can also look forward to that. Go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, and you will start seeing more information about that upcoming stuff, upcoming events, and things like that. Again, I'm David Robinson, the father of geologist Daniel Robinson. I'm here for doing the Q&A this morning. First of all, I want to thank everybody who this weekend I had to go out to CrimeCon this weekend to do an event out there. First of all, I mean, it was a very, very, very helpful time to get my son's story out there. So I want to thank CrimeCon for allowing me to be out there to share my son's story. I want to thank also Kelly McClear and Kate Dawson for saying being a very much help. First of all, get me out to CrimeCon, and also Kate Dawson for being the moderator while I was on stage. I'm not used to talking to front of a lot of people. She was there to make sure I get those questions out and things like those things I want to speak out about out there. So I really thank her for giving the time that she had. Also, I want to thank my team, Barry, Larnell, Sophia, and Shauna, and also Gwen. I want to thank you all for everything you have done, and in terms of being out there and to help and assist and make sure that everything went smoothly and got all the information. I ran into a lot of contacts out there in CrimeCon, it's very helpful, you guys. Getting the interviews and stuff set up, and also things when it comes to terms of trying to get things ready for this foundation. I want to thank SS Hollywood for giving me a interview out there. And some of the others, it's a lot of interviews from different places. I don't want to miss anybody, but also Natalie and Derica from Black and Missing. Thank them for their help, for being there. Also, I just want to put this up behind me, but being there for me in the back here, being there, and TF. I'm really grateful for these people that have been very, very, very kind out there in this Q&A. I'm out there in the CrimeCon, so it went really well out there. And also, I want to thank Nate Eaton also for Idaho News for taking my story and also putting it out there in Idaho. So I mean, it was a very great time out there in CrimeCon. So I'm really grateful, like I said, to get Daniel's story out there, and we got all the flyers and things that we needed passed out there. So, and also you guys, everybody who's out there who came out to just hear me speak, out there in that audience out there, man, I just love you to death. I'm really grateful that you came out, came to the front to shake my hand, to the donations on the spot. I'm really grateful for that. That's really kind of you. Just really make me happy. You know what I'm saying? And smile to see you guys come out and show your love and stuff. And also sharing your stories. I had a lot of stories out there. I want you guys to also remember that, like, this is not just happening to my family, but happening to many others. You will never know what people are going through unless they tell you. So I want to thank those families who was able to confide in me and tell me their stories out there at CrimeCon about their family members who was missing. Also, we got to think about them also, like I said, and that's the reason why we have a foundation coming up, the foundation here, where we can also help other families. So I want to start off by saying thank you also, Minnie, for being here this morning on this Q&A. Thanks for coming out this morning. Thank you, Brooklyn Michelle, for being here this morning. Also, thank you, Unu. Thank you for being a moderator. Thank you for your passion for my son's case. I really appreciate you always for being out here on this Q&A. So thank you so much. I want to thank Nikki O'Shea for being here this morning on this Q&A. That's really nice of you to take your time out to come out and be a part. Also, T and Wildflowers, I'm gonna get that correct, for being out here this morning on this Q&A. And also, good morning to you. Good morning to you. Thank you so much. Also, Rod the Creator, thank you for being here. I really appreciate you and for being out here on this Q&A. Also, thank you, ex-Navy Girl 81. Good morning to you, coming in from YouTube. I want to thank everybody who's coming out here. Shauna, part of the team, really grateful you being out here this morning. Good morning to you, and being a part of this Q&A. And thank you for all your help and everything you did for on CrimeCon to help me out to, like I said, keep things in order. So I really appreciate it. And y'all was there for all the other things too. So thanks so much, Shauna, for being here this morning. Also, Hildy, thanks for being here this morning, this Q&A. Thank you, Shida. Thank you so much. If I say your name incorrectly, I apologize, but thank you so much for being here this morning. And thank you for following the story. I'm really grateful that you have done that. And I'm sure that you're sharing things about the story. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. This is a Q&A, so just like Shauna have here, you guys, if you can, please put the capital letter Q there before your question, or the word question before your question, all caps like she have there, or some question marks, something to get me so I can, as I'm coming down, I can identify your questions. I would love to answer your questions as much as I can, and so we can go that way. So thanks so much for being a part. Thank you, Shauna, for putting that out there. Also, thanks, Sophia, for being out at CrimeCon to help out and being part of that team, part of the team. And I'm really grateful for all your hard work that you put into everything. So also coming outside of your own business to help, but I really appreciate it. I always appreciate you. So thank you so much. for being here on this Q&A also. Thank you, Brenda, for being here off of Facebook. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you for tagging these people on there. I really appreciate you being here this morning for support. Thank you, Barry, for being here. Thank you for being out there helping in every form and fashion that you're helping and being a part of the team and really helping out, getting us, everything, keeping everything in order and keeping me straight. So I'm really grateful for you being there. Also, thank you, Nikki O'Shea, for being here this morning, being part of the Q&A this morning. Also, guys, before I keep going here for the next person, I definitely want to ask you guys, please look at the bottom of the screen there. You see the tip line, 24 hours, 7 days a week. Tip line, I pay for that. It's live operators, like I said, 24 hours, 7 days a week. Please utilize that if you have any knowledge of what happened to my son, or any idea, any tips that would bring Daniel back home. Anything you think is very, very important. I do ask you guys not to call or use the tip line to give me suggestions. Hey, I think you should search this area or that area or something like that, unless you have direct knowledge or evidence that Daniel is there based on some physical evidence or something you know. So please, if you have that. Also, I want to say real quick, though, if you don't want to talk to anybody on the tip line, because like I said, as a live operators, they take your call. They will let you become anonymous or non-anonymous if it's under your, your guidance. You can also just text the word tip to that number if you just don't want to talk to anybody at all, and you still can remain anonymous. So, but again, if you have any suggestions and things like that, or I need you to go check this law enforcement office to check this location, I believe that this happened, or whatever the case may be, use the number that you see on the bottom of the screen. That's my direct public number, and you guys can use that number for giving advice, to opinions, to just want to say something. Hello, Mr. Robinson. I think you're doing a good job. I think you're doing a bad job. Whatever you want to say, you can utilize that number. That's what that number is for. And also, you can go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com for information that you say, I want to find out ways I can help. That's a lot of things you can do right here. You can help in all way. That's a tab there on the Please Help Find Daniel. Other ways you can help. That will help also with the foundation that's coming here now. That's here now. So I'm really grateful if you can put out that put your information there. There'll be very much support and help later on also. Also, this last night when I checked the tip line, you guys go on to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com to sign the petition. That petition, I meant to say, is at just looking, Rick, we almost near getting close to the 150,000. That's what I'm really pushing for. Petition is your voice. So you guys, please, if you can, sign a petition. We're already at around 114,772 as I checked last night, and it's growing. So just continue to sign that as your voice. I know you have a voice about my son's case. You have a concern about my son's case, and you have been showing that, and I'm really grateful for it. That's been, like I said, been pushing me through since. So I'm really grateful for you guys. You can continue on, continue on doing that. I do want to say that I did have to put the desert searches on pause again. Like I said earlier, the pause came from funding. Most of it's funding. A lot of it's because of some other things with the volunteers, and make sure the volunteers are safe and things like that. Always safe. We always stayed safe out there. We had no problems. But some things that still need to be taken care of, and that comes with funding. We want to make sure we have those razors, is what I'm saying about the safety aspect. Razors and things like that, the vehicles needed out there is for safety. Saying if somebody get tired, for instance, and they want to get back to the command center, we need the command center back up, things like that. So a lot of those things can help when we get the funding going again. That can help also. But at the same time, I save some of those fundings because I need to continue building funding for this forensics work that need to be done. The forensic work that should have been done on the scene by the local police department, there should have never been a time where they turned over all that stuff over to me the very next day, and the days 2 days after that, the rest of the things, and not have any type of forensic work done on these items. So only time they had it, like I said, the forensic work done was the fingerprinting, and that was on my request. But other than that, that should have never been the case. there should have been some evidence locked up right now, just in case even though they saying they, in my opinion, are refusing to see it as any kind of thing other than him being missing. In case it did change, somebody come out and say blah blah blah. I did this or something, whatever case may be, God forbid, and they don't have any evidence. They have nothing. They haven't taken any evidence, haven't secured nothing. So that's a problematic. It's problematic for me, my family, and Daniel. He have his justice and his right to have justice and everything else, just like anybody else. He had the right to, saying, like I said, fair treatment, just like anybody else. And so that's what I'm here for. That's what fathers are here for. That's what parents are here for, is to fight for our loved one, fight for our children. And I'm here as a father to fight for Daniel. So I want to make sure that he gets the justice that he deserves. And that's the reason why I'm going to get these fingerprinting. I'm going to redo the fingerprint. I haven't even gotten anything from about the fingerprint. I can't tell you. I think that when you do fingerprinting, you'll think that you'll see a lot of that fingerprinted dust all over the place inside a vehicle. That's not a trace of any kind of dust or that they ever did fingerprinting on that vehicle. But they say they have, and we have to just take their word for it on that. But I tell you one thing, I'm going to get those things done because it hasn't been done. It hasn't been done. Well, I can't say it wasn't done, but they haven't given me any information about it, is what I'm saying, about what they found, if anything, when they did the fingerprinting. So get those things done on the vehicle. Had to get the airbags done on the vehicle. Get the red transfer paint that's on the side of the vehicle that they didn't even know it was there. It took my investigator to locate that red transfer paint. Also, there's also a smidgen of yellow transfer paint on that same side. So get those things checked out forensically and done. But as you can imagine, it costs a lot of money. The cell phone by itself costs about a little $10,000 to $12,000 by itself to get forensics done on it. So doing each item one by one. And so it's going to take some time. So thank you guys for everybody who's been donating and been helping out in many ways, whether it's help searching to passing out the flyers. I have people already that I'm having flyers sent out again today or tomorrow, as soon as possible to them. And some, even one in Buckeye, reached out to me. We do have a company that will be passing out flyers in Buckeye and some of these other areas also. And also I still have the city distribution every week. You know what I'm saying? I apologize for some people who missed the change on the city distribution this weekend and came out. We will be having those flyers out every week. So if you guys can come out there and want to take out these flyers and take them all over your city, you can carry them back with you, or you can pass them out with us in the city. But you guys, you can take them back with you and pass it out. I'm trying to cover every city, every state that I can, get these flyers out. Just like I said, at Crime Con, we got out thousands of flyers out there at Crime Con, and people from all over the country. Probably, I have some from the UK that was out there. So took some of the flyers. So, just make sure you get Daniel's name out there. That's the whole name of the game. We don't know who saw something or heard anything, and they just happen to move to the UK, or they moved to Florida or California or wherever. And those flyers go out there. Somebody heard something, see something, say something. That's the key, because they could have moved that day, and then they'll just jot their memory, and then they can call that tip line and leave an anonymous tip, or just call me direct and give me some information that will lead me to find my son. So that's my whole goal. That's what I'm here for. I'm not here on vacation. I'm not here just to just to be here. I'm not an Arizona person. I'm a water person. I love the ocean. But you know what? I love my son more than anything. And and I'm going to be here until I find him. So I'm going to do every effort I can. And I'm grateful you guys, you're doing it with me. I couldn't do it by myself, though I would try, But, to have people like yourself with your kind heart and your empathy for me and my family and Daniel, we really appreciate it. Daniel do have a mother at home that's suffering. You guys cannot ever forget that. You do have a mother that's definitely out there that really going through a lot of pain. He have his aunties and his grandparents, his grandmothers that's really going through it. So got uncles that that's going through it, and also his friends. So we can't forget everybody in the background who's really going through. God is so happening to help me to stand in the forefront for my son and standing tall for my son.
I would have to do that for him. I had to be here. It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of work. Like I said, you get tired all the time and things like that. But you know what? I have God to keep me going, and I have my love for my son. And I have my family. So thank you, guys. And I have you all. You are my extended family. So I'm grateful. Like I said again, very grateful. I'm going to keep saying it over and over again. I'm just grateful you guys take your time to be a part of my family, extendedly being a part of the family to help find Daniel. So also thank you, Gwen, for being here this morning, being the moderator, and thank you for all the love and everything you do. So I love you, and I'm really grateful you being here. So thank you so much. Also, thank you again, Shauna. Thank you for putting information up there. You guys, if you have questions, please put a question mark there. Put the word question or big Q, something so I can see it. So please, you can do that. I really appreciate it. Thank you also, you knew, for putting information there. Yes, you can contact me off that number directly if you guys want to say anything to me. So that's a number that you can use. If you want to ask for flyers, say you want to pass out some flyers and you want me to mail them out to you, you can send your address. And some people did, and I did see your addresses last night. And I'll get it to you today. Get my team to try to get these flyers out today. So I do see that. So you guys can definitely use that number if you want flyers, or you can go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. There's a PDF there. You can make those flyers too if you want to make them yourself. I do ask you guys again if you can make and my team always get on me by saying this, but I really think it's very important to me. The flyers are like this here, just like the banner behind me, but the only difference is they have a QR code here. You guys, it kind of looking weird because of the green screen behind me, but you know what? You had a QR code there. On the side of a postcard. It's a postcard. That's why it's handheld. Then also got the back here. Where the information there about the tip. The reward there. So you guys can make them the size of a postcard. That's fine. But like my team would say, just get them out there any kind of way you can. And I say the same thing. So I just ask that. But you guys, if you want to print them out yourself, please just get the whole name of the game is to get that awareness out there about Daniel and get his story out there. So I really appreciate it if you want to make them yourself. Like I said, you can use that number also just to help me send them to you also. So thank you. And thank you again, you knew. I really appreciate it. Also, thank you, Shelby GC, for being here from Georgia. Thank you. I really appreciate you being a part of this Q&A this morning and taking your time out this morning just to be here. So I'm grateful to you. Also, I have a question here from Brooklyn Michelle. The first question of the Q&A this morning. Thank you, Brooklyn Michelle, for your question. What was the most significant impact that you feel CrimeCon made on Daniel's case? I have met a lot of. First of all, it's the awareness. The awareness, like I said, that's one of the biggest parts. That's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing now. I told a lot of people there at CrimeCon that for families, you don't have a blueprint, what you need, or some kind of book or something which I'm planning on doing for families, but you don't have that kind of thing where you can go by what you do first, what you do second, and how to keep your loved one's story out there. Because like I said, I run to people all the time who you'd never even hear about their missing loved one. I was on the stage, coming off the stage, and before I can get off the stage, I talked to some families who have missing loved ones, and their story don't get out there, So one of the things I learned is when the media stop covering your personal story, you have to become your own media in a sense. Build your own YouTube channel. And YouTube is a tool. Like I said before, I only use YouTube in the past just to how to do something, how to change some oil in the car. I'm just use an example. That's all it was for, or to put up some video that I have for my family. Hey, I want to send this videos to a family member, or some fun I had or whatever. And it's amongst the family, things like that. But other than that, I didn't know there was such thing as a podcast and this and that, and people was really in tune to watching these things. So utilize these tools. The tools are out there. Build your channel. When the news, news stations and some of these shows or whatever the case may be, because Daniel's story is out there, from News Nation to CNN to MSNBC to on the Joy Reid to the morning show to Dateline to you name it. Dr. Oz, but after a while, like I said, once the story is out there, they have their points to make. The disparities that happen amongst black and people of color, saying they talked about that because of the Petito case and things like that. That's the reason why they was on it for a while, but then once the story started drying down, they moved on to something else. Like right now, they're on the Ukraine thing, or they stuck on something else. But then your story goes on the back burner. But my son's still missing. So you have to create your own platform. In other words, to make sure that your person's story is out there. So CrimeCon have seen that. Like I said, I thank Kelly McClear for reaching out to me, one of the producers there. I believe she told me that Dr. Field recommended me to be there, and I'm really grateful for him for doing that. I did try to apply to get on the show to get Daniel's story out there, and so I'm grateful for him to have that happen to get to like I said, CrimeCon. So what I got out of it is to get Daniel's story out there a lot farther, and also the networking. The network was very important. Like I said, you don't know until you ask. So you go out there and you start talking to people, and they have, you name it, people from whether they're retired FBI profilers to like the Black and Missing, people with their own 501c3s to help you. So it's different things, and other people who can do all kind of other things. So that really helped the networking and also getting the information that I needed out there, and the people who's willing to continue to help get Daniel's story out there. So like I said, I'm doing more interviews and things like that that's coming up with different, like I said, SS Hollywood also requested to do a interview out there, for instance. Then they put Daniel's name out there again. So it's things like that. So it did help in many ways. I probably missed some of them. I'm sure my team will be right here. They're on with me, and they'll tell you some of the other things how it helped. So, but it helped in this way, and also with the funding. I'm trying to get the funding. So the only time you get funding is if you put the name out there and people hear the story and they're willing to help. So it's very important for families to remember that too. You have to make sure to get the name out there. That's probably one of the major things. Get the name out there, get your story out there, and people will come to help. So I've seen that. You guys came to help, and I'm really grateful for everybody. Like I said, I don't take you for granted. I'm really grateful for your help. Also, thank you, She Rose Nation, for being here. You're not late. You're here on time. I really appreciate it. Thank you for being here and being, like I said, you are part of the family. And I really thank you for being here and taking your time out to be part of this Q&A. Thank you also, Lois Strickland from North Carolina, for being here this morning. Thank you so much for coming out again, being in great support of this Q&A. Thank you so much. You guys I keep saying, don't forget that tip line. I really appreciate it. I'm really grateful that if you can use that, you can remain anonymous, and saying just give your tip. So also I thank Paige McCarver. Thank you so much for being here. Yes, they did say that, and it's a lot of things that was said to me that just don't make sense. I was on stage, and I really feel horrible when I actually had to be honest. Say I'm not a person that want to. You guys think I'm some people may believe I'm out trying to bash the police. I'm not bashing the police. I just tell the facts. I'm not a person who's gonna sit there and want to make them look bad, but they make themselves look bad. When you don't do no forensic work on the scene, and you say things like that to me about suggesting some type of monk type deal to me, that's disrespectful. When you can sit there and just say anything. You think you're saying, hey, we got these low flying helicopters, and the man is fly so low you can hold your hand up, Mr. Rouse, and touch the bottom of a helicopter and fly. I've been in the military. That just sounds like something you can describe off a television show or something, But you can say anything to me because I'm supposed to take that, and I guess it's okay for them to say those things to me. So yeah, it's very disrespectful, very hurtful too. But things I had to say, for instance, hey, the FBI said that they're not coming to my son's case. I had to say that on the stage at CrimeCon when the question came along. You're doing such a great job on your own. We don't need to come in. Like I'm doing a better job than the FBI could. So that kind of suggestion and things to be said to me because you think you can just say things like that to me. that's disrespectful to me. So I don't just make these things up. This is exactly what things that were said to me. So, but sometimes you don't think about it to hindsight, looking back, and you ask yourself, why would a person say things like that? I think as say they belittling me or they think less of me or something like that. I don't know. But I'm a very sharp, intelligent man. My son is a scientist. He's a lot smarter than I am. So my family, all my friends, very bright, intelligent people. So, you all, nobody, you call somebody less than or make them feel less somehow. You think you just talk to anybody in kind of way. So I deserve the same respect as if they would like to have respect if something was going on with their loved one. So, when I think back, thank you, Leanne, for being here. I really appreciate it. Good morning to you. Thank you for being here this morning. I really appreciate everything you have done. Amazingly, constantly, every week, nonstop, helping out there in that desert, putting on your hard work and your hard time out there. I'm really grateful for you, and I'm glad to see your name on the screen this morning. So thank you for being a part of here and of the family, being part of the family, extended family, and your husband, Evan. So thank you so much for you being here this morning, being a part. God bless you. Also, thank you, Ink, for being here this morning. Inks, for being here, for saying your name incorrectly. I apologize for being a part here. Tanya Beth, thank you. Good morning to you for being here this morning. I really appreciate you coming out. Also, Elaine, thank you for being here. Good morning to you. I really appreciate you being here this morning. I'm trying to make sure you're the same Elaine. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but if you're Elaine, thank you so much for being here and being part of searching all your hard work and everything. So God bless you. God bless you. I want to make sure I had it right. If you're different than Elaine Hamilton, I'm trying to think of what Elaine's last name is, part of the search team. So thank you for being here this morning. Also, thank ex-Navy girl 81 for being here this morning. I really appreciate it. You've been part of this Q&A and showing your love and support. Aaron Chase, thank you for being here this morning. Thank you for, it'd be okay. God's got this in control. God don't put more on you than you can bear. I say that's for in the family. And God allowed me to and my family to go through this time for a reason. You know what I'm saying? And I hope that reason end up being that we find Daniel okay, and which we will. I'm going to keep my faith on that, and and we're going to keep our faith on that and go forward with that. So, but yeah, it's very hard for each family. I look at one family. I think the lady said her, I don't know if it's her mother, but it was one of her loved ones was missing for years, many years. I think it was over 8 years or so, and she still feel the pain. You just don't get over your loved one just going missing. You don't have an answer, so you never get a closure. And what is a closure? You know what I'm saying? When if you do find a person at the end, what kind of closure is that? But the only hard part is by having a missing person. It happens over and over again to you every day because you just don't have any type of answers of what's going on. None, no answers, no clue. Sometimes, and that's a lot hurtful just because of that fact. Thank you so much, Danielle. For being here. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your kind comments. That's really nice of you. I really appreciate it. And thank you for helping keep his story alive and being here this morning on this Q&A. Rachel Arno, again, thank you so much. Good morning to you. I really appreciate you coming out to the Q&A. Also, VTL, thanks for being here this morning on this Q&A. Guys, if you have any questions, please, by all means, ask your questions here. But don't forget to put big question there, word question there first for your question, or a question mark, or a big capital letter Q. Help me as I'm coming down the comment section so I won't miss your question. Also have Cha Cha B. Thank you so much for being part of the Q&A this morning. Yeah, there's a lot going on in the Buckeye area, but you know what? We're gonna pray for them too. There's a lot of good come out of there too, because we have people who come out to the searches and being a part of helping try to find Daniel. So I'm really grateful for them also. And Yeti Kankan, thank you so much for being here. And I won't give up. And thanks for reaching out from South Carolina. Yes, every time I see a little bit of home, I'm really happy to hear that. Also, thank you so much for being here this morning. Mary Vaughn, thank you for being here this morning. Good day to you also. Thank you for being part of the Q&A. Again, please continue to share Daniel's story. We really need that. You know what I'm saying? We really need that. So if you guys can continue to do that, that's helped a whole lot. That you just don't know. I say it over and over again. You just don't know how much just sharing Daniel's story, how much beneficial it is, and how it helps in everything that's going on here. For me and my team, from the funding to the signing of the petition to the just support, mental support, getting out, like I said, the petition to. I mean, just everything that's the whole organization, everything that's going in terms of helping to find my son. All that work together. Some people say, "Hey, you're doing this one thing, you're doing this other thing." All of it, the investigation that I'm doing, everything goes together. Everything goes together. So can't have one without the other. I can't have the desert searches without doing this right here or getting those flyers out. I can't have the getting the flyers out without having the desert searches, which that's going on right now in pause, and that's really hard right now. One thing I want to mention again, just having the desert searches on pause right now, like I said, is very difficult because just even made that decision of the week was really hard. My mind said, "Hey, look, if I was able to just keep the search going for one more week, you know what I'm saying, for instance, and I could have searched this area that need to be searched, complete this area that we searched last. If my son is out there, God forbid, if he's out there, I may have found him. You know what I'm saying? May have took all these weeks, but I have found it. So that's the kind of things go through your mind, what if type stuff, you know, and I had to settle that. It took me a hard decision to put this the search on pause. But like I said, you know, try to save and utilize. I'm still trying to make sure I remain here in Arizona also. So I had to utilize everything I can to you know, saying fund everything that I'm doing all at one time. And one of the most important thing is to get this forensics work done. So I'm collecting that to make sure that stuff all get done. So forensic wise. Also, thank you guys, Vicky, Scully, Chin for being here. Thank you for being here, and I really appreciate your heart being here. Also, thank you, Seema Turner, for being here. If I say your name incorrectly, I apologize. So thank you so much for being here, part of this Q&A. Again, I'm looking down for some questions. Again, my name is Dave Robinson, the father of geologist Daniel Robinson. My son went missing on June 23rd out there in Buckeye. Brilliant scientist. My son, he checked the viability of the wells to make sure you guys, if you go out there, buy a home in South Carolina. Oh, maybe my mind want to be there, but in Arizona, these communities have to have wells out there that produce at least 100 years of water. You don't want to go out there and build. They build a community out there, and you got a brand new house. You start your family out on, and you get out there, and once these builders build those houses and stuff like that, they're gonna make their money and they're gone. So it'll be up to you. I'm sure some homeowner association, whatever the case may be. You guys be stuck without water. For instance, if something was to have a water crisis and those groundwaters is not producing 100 years of water, can you imagine you spend all this money on a house out there in the community and then you go through this? And I'm sure that they say, hey, it's community's responsibility. You guys have to take your own money and find out ways to get water pulled into your community. So you don't want to go through that. People got to understand, I'm sure it's probably indigenous for Arizona, being Arizona's a big state where they have a lot of desert. So Phoenix is built on a desert. So, you know, you guys have to look at the water supply and things like that is one of the crucial things about bringing water to the desert. This is the desert, and they built a big city, for instance, Phoenix and all these other cities around. They built them in the desert and had to bring water from all over the place just to try to give people here water to drink and stuff and utilize. So Daniel's job is very important. Also, thank you, adoptionscams.com for your question. Do you know if luminol will be used as part of forensics in the Jeep? Glad you had an uplifting experience in Vegas, Mr. Robinson. Thanks so much for that. Also, I'm glad I was out there too. I was kind of reluctant, not reluctant. I was just really nervous. I'll just put it that way. Of getting on the stage, it was a lot of people to be sitting in front of and discuss my son's case is very, very different. Different experience. But you know what? We made it through, and I'm glad I've done that because, like I said, it helped me get a lot of. It's a lot of information and things I need, and also a lot of help from some people that will be helping in different ways. and just like I said, awareness. But thank you for saying that. Also, with the question, if luminol is going to be used, I do not know. Only thing I have is my investigator. I cannot turn these items over to forensics lab. My investigator had to do so. Like I said, I want to see this vehicle, for instance, on it twice. The clothing and stuff, I do have those things in possessions, but they are put up. Secured in a secure location. Everything is secured in a secure location, and they're secured in a proper way where I have no dealings with them, and that's on purpose. I don't have seen this vehicle, like I say, twice, and that's only because, like I said, I try to stay away from it for the obvious. I'm Dane's father, and one day, if all that is coming up to use or whatever, I have no dealings with it. The first time I seen it was, like I said, with Detective Biffle when he showed it to me, the story I told you at the beginning of this Q&A. And then the second time was with my investigator when he had to go out there to this location to check some things out on a vehicle. So, and I wasn't, even then, the protocol for that place is, is they have a bit section there. I could see it from a distance. So wasn't there, actually physically touch that vehicle or anything like that ever. As a matter of fact, I never ever touched the vehicle physically ever since I've been here in Arizona. As they were using luminol and things like that, I hope so. I don't know how these forensic labs would do it, but I really hope so. Hoping that's probably one of the things they did use to. I heard about luminol and what it's used for, but I don't know. Maybe they have a different technique or something. I don't know, but I hope they use something to find out information that I need. Also, thank you, Cha Cha B, for being here. Thank you, Shelby GC, for being here on this Q&A. Let's see, got anybody else? Like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. It helps the algorithms. I really appreciate you guys if you can, help this YouTube channel grow. I already have over 1,000 subscribers already, and that's really huge. That's really huge because, like I said, that just gets Daniel's story out there a lot farther. You tell somebody else, hey, go join that YouTube channel, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. That help out. I mean, that's part of helping out this whole thing with Daniel and get his name out there. Question from Aaron Chase. Good morning, Mr. Robinson. How long was Daniel living in that area before he went missing? Well, Daniel he lived in Phoenix when he first came out here to Arizona. I think about a year. Then he moved over to Tempe, where he still is a resident. He never was a resident of Buckeye and things like that. I did hear some reporting out there. Hey, Daniel is a Buckeye. They even say I'm in Buckeye. I'm not in the Buckeye either. I'm in Phoenix, but the Daniel's in Tempe when he went missing. He's a Tempe resident of Tempe, Arizona. That's outside of Phoenix. It's the next city next to Phoenix, whatever, one of the cities next to Phoenix. So, but yes, he hadn't been living out in Arizona roughly 3 years. So before he went missing. So just still looking. I'm gonna continue to look for that answers to a lot of things about of course what happened in Buckeye versus where he come from in Tempe, because that point, let's say the point of that morning that Daniel went missing, there's a lot of questions to even him being at that well site in the first place. But I'm still looking into all of that. You guys, I just wish so bad I could get this forensic work done so I can really share a lot more with you guys. So that I want to say. Thank you again, you all, for being out here. Thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. Saying just please mark your questions with a big capital letter Q or a question mark or the word question and things like that. That really help. Say as I'm coming down the comment section to see it. If you guys, like I say, please ask the question. If I don't have the answer to those questions, I will tell you that. But I try to make sure I keep the facts, because there's a lot of things out there that's misleading and things like that I do hear. I had some people even at CrimeCon was asking me some things that they heard out there, and they had to be fact checked because it's one of the things I'm gonna say it over and over again, and on purpose, because I know you guys go and read those police report. One thing that bothered me the most is that police report stating that I said that my son was in love with a woman that he didn't know. I'm gonna tell you straight up, never said anything like that to that department. So, why they so stuck on trying to make sure that sticks some kind of way. They need to correct that and stop putting that falsehood out about me. So that's not something I would say or reason I would have to say that. My son had never told me something like that. So I wouldn't even go out and assume something like that. So if he did tell me that, then I would have said it. And then I would be like, yeah, my son was in love with a woman he didn't know, and he shouldn't be, because how many times we in our life fell in love with somebody, and they say love at first sight. I don't believe in love at first sight, but some people do. And but Daniel never subscribed or describe anything or having any feelings about the young lady at all. So in terms of being in love with her, he would never say that. So I just want to make sure I get that fact straightened out. There's some other things out there that's misleading. Is not true. So if you have questions, please utilize this Q&A for that. Thank you. So again, I want to say your name wrong. So thanks so much for being here. Okay, you do have a question here. I think it's a question, but you guys have questions, please use the word question there followed by your question, or big question mark. I think this is a question. So have you tried speaking to a psychic or medium for answers for extra clues? I've heard in the past families reaching out to psychics for clues. No, I have not. But they have been speaking out to me. They have been reaching out to me. I have a lot of people who say they have psychics and mediums. They'll say things, hey, I think this happened here, or he's over here. Then the other one say, hey, I know he's over here. And one may say, oh, I'm the real deal. And the other one say, I'm the real deals, and things like that. But, one thing I can say, and it's not belittling or being, trying to be facetious or anything. I just don't subscribe into those type, events and things like that. I'm not knocking and saying people don't have gifts. A lot of things about this life we just don't understand. It just is something I just don't subscribe to personally. So no, I do not talk to psychics and mediums for a source of trying to find out what happened to my son. So I look for physical evidence. I look for tangible stuff. Person have a reason to have me go look somewhere. They need to provide those reasons why I should be going to look at it. It shouldn't be nothing like, hey, I had this feeling, or something came into me in a dream, or what the case may be. I cannot follow things like that. So I had to follow things based on the realities that I understand. So if they can provide that for me, by all means, yes, I will. Take any advice and things like that from anybody who have physical evidence or something that's factual. Hey, I know the person who did this. Oh, I know your son. I've seen him. He's here. Blah blah blah. And I saw him with my own eyes, or I know the persons who have who know, or whatever the case may be. But as in things like, hey, I had his feelings, or whatever the case may be. Not knocking anybody, but I just can't utilize that as a basis to go anywhere searching. So I just want to make sure people are clear about that. Like I say, I'm really grateful for everybody who's supporting, even the psychics and the mediums. I thank you guys for your support and putting Daniel's name out there and helping in any kind of way where you have your channels where you talk about his story and things like that. That's putting his name out there. So in whatever form or fashion you're doing it, I'm really grateful. I just, like I said, personally, I just don't subscribe to it. So anyway, the petition is at 114,782. Thank you all for signing that petition. Thank you for going to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com and helping in all kind of ways that you are helping in my search for my son. Also, again, I'm saying Daniel have a family, and so I'm in the gap for them also, for my entire family, both sides, my side of the family and his mother's side of the family. So I'm standing in the gap here. There's some fray out there about you hear all kind of things out there. I don't follow a lot of stuff that happens in the comment sections and things like that, but I can tell you I'm doing the best I can as a father, and I'm really grateful you guys for supporting me. This is not something fun that I'm doing. It's very painful. It's hard. I think I'm putting a great effort in, and I'm going to continue to put a great effort in. I'm glad you guys are supporting me. Like I said, when I hear nice things like I did from you guys in the comment section, when I do get these questions or something, I see some of these comments, And also when people just walk up directly to me or send me a text message and say, hey, Mr. Robbins, I think you're doing a great job. That helps me. That helps me mentally because it's hard. It's hard sometimes to just to continue. I mean, I want to grieve. I want to be at home and grieve for my son just as much as some of the other family members may be able to do. But, I'm just, but I can't do that because I'm a hands-on person. My son is my son, and I have to be out here on the front line for him. I think any family member or anybody, and I'm not knocking any family members or anybody out there who have families of missing persons. What I'm saying is, I'm just a person that would fight physically and hard for my children. I'm a protector. I think that's a very good job for a father. Fathers, that's what we do. We protect our families. Rather, me and for instance, Daniel's mother, we're not long. She's remarried. We're not married no more, but still, my children is my family, and I'm gonna fight for them. I'm gonna fight for each and every last one of them. Daniel is important to me, and I have to be out here on the ground. I'm not a person that's going to sit around and fold my hands and don't do anything, or just pray something. I'm not a man that's going to pray without doing some action. You know what I'm saying? It can't be just a prayer. I believe in prayer. I know how powerful prayer is. That's why you guys say, hey, Ms. Robinson, I'm praying for you. I love that. So I need all the prayer I can. My family need all the prayer we can get. For prayer is a tool to talk to God. But God is never asking us to stay still and don't do nothing. Hey, Lord, I want to be successful in life. It ain't going to just fall on your lap. You need to go out there and do something to become successful. So same thing, same approach with my son. Lord, I want to find Daniel. I want my son found. I want him found alive. I want to find him safe. I had to go out there to find him alive, and I got to find him safe. And if if all that's failed, and I know that things are happening where investigative wise that would suggest some things, then I need to find out who's responsible for those things. I need to get his justice. I need to get his, it's not going to just fall on, like I say, fall on your lap. And I'm not just going to leave it to a police department to do it. Just tell me, hey, Mr. Robinson, we're doing this and we're doing that. You see what's happening. Let's say I was back in South Carolina right now, and this vehicle was found on July the 19th. They would did the same thing you guys seen here. They would have did no forensic work at the scene. They would have collected those items, and I don't know what they would have done. Would have sent us to us in the mail or something. I don't know. The red transfer paint would have been there. They would never say nothing about. They would have said nothing about the 11 additional miles that was found on the vehicle after the crash, because they didn't even know it. My investigator had to tell them about their own data that they pulled. They would have got their own resident reconstruction to make it a point that it just happened there, and that's all they got. They have no more answers. Just like they told me, and they put on their Facebook page, we have no more leads to follow. We have nothing else. The case is over. They told my investigator they don't have an investigation. They told him out of their own mouth. They don't have no more they don't have no investigation in my son's case. Well, all of a sudden they do now, but they don't have no investigation. So after they gave me everything from that scene. So the whole thing is, they would have been doing that. If I was in South Carolina, they would have did all of that. And the only thing that would have happened is I would have been one of those family members, or we would have been, and my family, would have been one of those families that's sitting there for who knows how long, wondering about their loved one. You know what I'm saying? We're thinking in our brain, trusting the department that's supposed to be there to serve and protect, that they did the forensic work on the scene to try to find your loved one. They checked out that red transfer paint. They followed the story. Take this last person that's seen your loved one and put them in the station, interrogate them to find out their story even true. And also would have, like I said, do what I did, is trace those tracks of that story and just to see as a detective way. They would have been going. They wouldn't have allowed a person to upload their own text messages in their report. They would have found out what happened to the memory card and the person's cell phone. Why the phone was wiped. They would have did all of that. It wouldn't have gave everything to send send things in. But imagine if you didn't go out and go look for your loved one, and that apartment mail you come and say, hey, come get everything that belongs to your person, but you at home and you thinking they out there doing everything they can to find your loved one. If I wasn't up here, we would have been, my family would have been back in South Carolina, thinking they were doing something, and this would have been going on. They would took a whole day over a day to tell us that the vehicle is even found, things like that. So, you got to stay on top of these departments. I don't care if they're cops or not or whatever. They got some blue badge. Hell, I fought for this country. I've sustained injuries for this country. And at the same time, I knew it was my job. And I took my job with pride. We go out there, we leave that wire out there. We knew it. I had my better buddy. We used to pray every time we leave the wire because we know it's not guaranteed we're going to come back, but they didn't stop us from doing our job. We didn't go out there to shoot the Taliban because they have a shirt to say, hey, I'm the Taliban. We didn't go out there just shooting people or doing things to people. And we had rules of engagements that we had to go through. We knew it was our job. It was our job, and we know our job was at high risk, but we did our job well out there in Afghanistan. So I expect that from the police department. We had boss when I was in the military. We had boss people we had to answer to. They have people to answer to, and the people that have to answer to the most is us. We're the taxpayers. We pay their salaries and everything else they have. They answer to us, so we can't never get it confused. I don't care how arrogant they are, how attitudes they get, because they don't like nobody micromanaging them. They don't be a police officer. You can't handle that kind of stress. Being micromanaged, you need to do your job. You do your job, then you won't have no problems. So I just want to make sure, and I say these things because I really need families to understand that, hey, you can't not sit down on these officers and these police departments and think they're doing something for you. They'll do stuff based on their own budgets. They'll say, hey, well, we don't have no budget. They won't tell you that. They just won't do nothing. We don't have no budgets. We can't do this on budget. Well, send it to somebody else. I asked this for a long time ago. You don't have the money. I used to say this all the time when I first looked for my son. If you guys don't have the money, your department is poor, whatever case may be, my son is important. Damn your department. Go ahead and send my son's case to somewhere, an apartment that can handle the workload and handle the things and get this forensics work done and everything else that needed to be done. Who can pay for it or whatever the case may be. My son, I'm a taxpayer. He's a taxpayer. He's a contributor to society. He's a scientist. He made Buckeye better by looking at those well sites and make sure they're reducing that water. So, I can keep going on and on because I really get mad. And I talked to, I think my team was saying it when I was in crime car sitting on a stage. And I say, hey, you get to a point I can get a little uptight. And I didn't want to do that either. So, but I'm really, really grateful. Thanks, Sophia, for putting us up here. So many interviews were conducted. Thanks for helping me remember some stuff. It was amazing. So much love and support was shown for Daniel. We would have a list of completed podcast interviews as they come out and share the links. Yeah, it was so much happening, you guys. And so thank you, Sophia, for doing that. That's what I have a team. They always listening. They always helping me out to remember some things because you can imagine everybody. I'm telling you, this is not an easy task. I invite anybody, especially my family members who want to help out. It's not an easy task. When I say it's not easy, I get pulled in all kind of directions, trying to make sure I'm keeping the searches going, which I had to put on pause, on how to keep the distribution going, how to even remain here in Arizona, how to get the flyers out, how to get, do everything, and trying to keep the investigation going and get the forensic done. I mean, just all this kind of stuff, the PR stuff, or whatever the case may be. It takes a lot. You put a lot of hats on, and it takes a lot of movement. So I did need a team. God blessed me with a team. These people are amazing. Sophia's one of them. I'm really grateful for them because they keep me on track and things like that. So I don't know what I'd do without you guys. So I'm really grateful you put that there. And we'll be sharing those things as it come. The people that I'll be working with, we'll be working with as a team, things we're doing with the foundation, so all of that. So all of that will be coming here on, we'll be putting all that together with the website and also how the foundation is going to help with the searches and things like that. So you'll see it all. And I'm really grateful, Sophia, for you putting that out there to help me out, get myself together here. Also, T and Flowers have a question. Mr. Robinson, were you able to ask the FBI about including Daniel in the VICAP? I don't know how you do that with missing persons database since he went missing under suspicious circumstances and may have been vulnerable. No, I didn't ever hear about that, so I can look into that. I know the team is writing that down now. But yeah, I can write that down and try to see if I can look and see what that is, and see if something that definitely would help. And I believe it will. You put it out there so you know something about it. and for missing people. So I'm really grateful. And that's what I need the Q&A for. Q&A is always good because, you guys have, nobody's an expert here. Nobody's an expert. I'm not an expert. I'm just a father looking for my son, and I had to learn. I'm learning as I go. So I'm learning a lot more as I go. So when I hear you guys come out with these suggestions, trust me, we look at those suggestions and I follow those suggestions to see how it helped to find Daniel. So thank you so much. Got one from Rachel. Thanks for your question. Were you able to see any proof that it was actually Daniel at the gas station, or did PD just tell you that it was him? That's exactly what they did. It's always that way. They just tell me things. They didn't. I asked for the footage. They claimed they had these footage of my son at the gas station to prove that he was really there. I have yet to this day to see that. I asked for it. So I'm saying, don't think I didn't ask for these things. I have asked for these things a long time ago, just like I asked for the cell phone pings to any kind of footage that my son was actually even driving to work that morning, of all these cameras around the interstates and major street corners. My son, if I take it away, they tell me they ain't got have none of that footage. He was have some kind of cloaking device on his vehicle, because since my son been here for 3 years, somehow his vehicle escaped all the cameras in the city, in the state. You know what I'm saying? So only time they caught one, they say, oh, we only have one, and that was like a month prior to my son going missing when he was going to see his sister in California, and they had footage of his vehicle then traveling. That's where you see a little a picture there with Daniel's back of the vehicle. You kind of see a license plate, kind of real blurry picture, not really great picture. That's the only picture they came up with my son actually on the road somewhere. As that gas station you was talking about, I asked about that. I wanted on the pictures, and I want the video they claim to have. They never could produce it. So sometimes I question the things they say. Just like the Waffle House my son went to, they said they had video. They didn't give me the video. I don't know why this department refusing to do things, but they gave me some other things. They gave me pictures of the video. In other words, I guess the video running, I paused it, snap a screenshot, a picture. They gave me those things. Like I said, but the things that they gave me struck a lot of questions that they had to answer. So I cannot put that out right now because I definitely have investigation going on my own, putting timelines together, things like that. Everything this department gave me, and things like that. So it's a lot of questions, a lot of suspicions around that Waffle House too. So so there's a lot that will be coming out, and that's what I'm saying, you guys. That forensic part is definitely going to play a big part. So thank you. I do see here's Nikki, Nicole. Thanks for being here. I see that you have I think you must be tagging a lot of people. So thanks so much for tagging, because that's one way that I was able to utilize social media to try to get some attention and things like that for my son's case. So thank you guys for that. Thank you, Nikki, Nicole. Thank you, Mr. Farmer, for being here. Thank you I really appreciate you in all kind of many ways, brother. Thank you for being part of the team. And thank you so much for all your hard work in Crime Con and everything you do since you've been on the team. And you guys help me stay straight. You guys, my team members, like I said, they help me keep organized and do all kind of stuff in the background. You guys don't know how much work been put in since God bless that I have a team now that can help me, like I say, stay straight and get things organized. So thank you so much, Ms. Farmers, for being here this morning and being part of the team. Thank you again, Shauna, for being here, part of the team this morning, and Sophia. Thank you again. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Yunu, for being here this morning again, for your hard work and your passion for my son's case and being a moderator here. Also, thank you, Rachel Arnold, again for being this morning. And I do have a question from T. Sophia. Thank you, T. Sophia, for what you have done in terms of helping me get awareness out for my son. I'm grateful for you being out here this morning. The question is, good morning, Mr. Robinson. Other than Daniel's Instagram, did any of his other social media appear to have anything missing? Any alarming messages or anything in the message boxes of Facebook or Instagram? Not that I'm aware of. We looked at his Facebook page, and we do have some other social media stuff, but we didn't see anything that would look out of ordinary, especially nothing was erased. That was only on the Instagram where those pictures were erased and things like that. So that was puzzling to me. I don't know the reason why it was done to the Instagram and wasn't done to the Facebook or something like that. We don't know. but we do know the Instagram itself was stuff taken out of. Now, I can tell you in relations to the young lady, they only being friends on Instagram. They wasn't friends on Facebook. So I don't know. They have some correlations together because she was a friend with him on the Instagram and not the Facebook. And the reason why some of his pictures is missing off that Facebook, I do not know. I mean, off the Instagram, I do not know. So you can put those things together in your own mind, but you got to find those evidence of finding out the reason why. But that's questionnaire for me to understand that too. Yeah, because that's the only place that she was friends with him is on the Instagram page, and it's so ironically that those pictures on the Instagram, his whole profile and all that was erased. Stuff like that. So. All right, Lawrence Gelsma, thank you, Lawrence, for being here. I'll say your last name incorrectly. I apologize. Thank you for being here from New York and being a part of. Well, I don't know if you're from New York, but thank you so much. I've been a part of this Q&A this morning, helping out. Bring awareness of Daniel's case. Yeah, the con. Thank you again. You have a question there. Are donations coming in at a good rate? Well, they come in sporadically, and I really thank everybody who have donated up to this point. One of the reasons why the searches had to be, like I said, postponed right now on pause is because of funding. And, I'm going to keep pushing. And, people look at, I know they look at the amount on the GoFundMe. The money is constantly being used. It's not something that is just sit in a bank somewhere, just being collected stuff. We actually use those out in the desert to everything. I mean, the flyer distribution, it takes a lot. It takes a lot of money to do everything I'm doing out here in Arizona. It takes a lot. So, it's one of those things where, we're constantly asking. Like I said, I have a team now, so it's going to make it a lot easier to, do some other things where we're going to terms of just making it better at searching for Daniel. So, but right now, yeah, it comes in as in I think it comes in basically based on media coverage. For instance, if things happen and somebody hey, look, Mr. Rouse, I'm gonna take a story or something have like Crime Con, then you might get a little boost or something like that, and then it kind of dies back down again. So definitely need those funders in as much as possible because to keep everything operational and keep it going. That's what I'm relying on. This is grassroots things. I don't have the department who probably have, who does have all the resources there to get certain things done a certain way. Had I had the right equipment out there, the proper drones and things like that out in the desert, we could have covered a lot of ground a lot faster and ruled out some things. That's what I'm trying to say. These departments, they could have came in there with their equipment, their specialized helicopters and everything else they have, and it can rule out some areas faster than it took me to have to do it with the volunteers for all these months. So, it just being able to do all the stuff. So yeah, really, it's been coming in kind of sporadic. Like I said, based on what happens in the media or what I'm doing here. I know if I, put a little campaign or something like that, it kind of help get a little boost or something like that, and help, things keep floating along. So, thank you for your question. All right, I do have Angelica Cole. Thank you for being here this morning. Thank you, Stephanie, for being here this morning. Part of the Q&A. Also, let's see if I have anybody else. Aaron Chase with a question. Thank you for your question here this morning. The question is, were Daniel friends interviewed or at all? I believe they were interviewed. I know my investigator said he talked to a couple of people. As in for Buckeye Police Department, I don't know. I just know they talked to one because obviously they talked to one because he's on the police report. Everybody else that's supposed to be, and it was two of them. Two of them is on that police report. The one I believe from out of town, and the one here from Dane's job. That's the only two I think I remember seeing on that report that they say they talked to. But that's the thing is, I can talk to anybody. I talked to the man at the well site that last saw my son. The only thing I did is talk to him. I didn't jack him up or put him in some interrogation room and beat some questions out of them or ask some questions or whatever the case may be. I don't know techniques of the police department, but as far as I understand, the only thing I know is the only person that ever been in an interrogation room at the Buckeye Police Department concerning my son was me and my daughter when we was giving them information about on Daniel's phone, to his bank statement. So we was showing them those things. That was on time I think anybody being in an interrogation room or question in this whole thing about my son, this whole case. Outside of the department, yeah, I think they did talk to some people. Question: has the Tempe PD been involved at all? On the way the Tempe police been involved, when I first called, tried to put a missing person report in, and they alerted me. Once they found out, they asked me when it was the last place he was seen, and I told them, according to his workers, that at the time, only thing they could tell me, because they didn't know the job. One thing, the job didn't know exactly where Daniel was in that desert. They didn't know exactly. They say, oh, near the White Tank Mountain. So they didn't say off of Sun Valley Parkway or thing. They say, hey, this White Tank Mountains. I don't know. This White Tank Mountain area. That's where he was at. And so I was able to relay that to the Tempe Police Department, which they told me, well, it's the last place he's seen. That's who's in charge of searching for my son. But I did ask them when I phone call to do a welfare check to go to his apartment because he's a Tempe resident, and they told me again because he was last seen out there in area Buckeye, this White Tank Mountain area, Buckeye. They gave me that number, so I did ask Buckeye to have the Tempe police to do a welfare check, and then they did end up telling me Tempe told me that they did a drive-through or whatever. They drove up to my son. I don't know if they actually physically got out. I know they didn't say anything about knocking on the door. They just say pretty much they went past the apartment. They didn't see nothing suspicious or out of ordinary. That's the only thing I was told. So as in knocking on the door itself and things like that. I just hear things like that, but I don't know. But that's it. That's the whole involvement of the Tempe Police Department at the time. So, and like I said, their jurisdiction is based on, even though Daniel's a citizen of Tempe, I think by law, the way they explained it to me, they always go by the last place the person was seen. That's who takes charge of the case, things like that. So one thing we can say is that we don't know, because we don't know what happened to Daniel. I was hoping that Tempe could be involved more so. When I say we don't know what happened, the only thing we know is what this worker said. And my whole search is based on out there in the desert, based on that. It was based on the fact that this vehicle right here was found in that ravine, his clothing, that would suggest Daniel was out there. So that's the reason why I have the searches out there. But who's to say that when Daniel was at 10, he want to go back for whatever reason? And I'm gonna tell you the strange part about it. This guy said that my son said that he wanted to go back to Phoenix. My son only live in Phoenix. I don't know why he wanted to go back to Phoenix, but he said he want to go to Tempe, and my son couldn't assume that the man lived in Phoenix. What I'm saying? Because I'm sure if they had a conversation, I don't know if he told him where he lived, but the man don't even live in Phoenix. So the thing is, why the Phoenix came up, I do not know. But the thing is, if he did leave there, some reason he went back to Tempe, for instance, we don't know that either. You know what I'm saying? Because I did check with that apartment complex for camera footage, and I did talk to the neighbors and things like that. I don't have any indications right now from those neighbors, and there was no cameras in that area where his apartment is. But did he ever go back home that day? So I really don't know. But because we don't know, we can't rule that out either. So that was one of the bases I was hoping that Tempe could be a part of, because we just don't know, from that point. So. All right, if you guys in the moderator, y'all can get rid of this this whole spam right there in the Q&A. I mean the comment section. I really appreciate it. We got some spam there, so you guys can get rid of that for me. I really appreciate it. Like, share, and subscribe and comment if you can. You guys, that help the algorithms. If you guys can put that out there for me. Like I said, I have 1,000 over 1,000 subscribers, and that's because of you all have been, spreading the word and spreading this channel. So I'm really grateful for you guys, and you keep continuing to do that. Thank you so much. Okay, got Wicked Crafter. Thanks for being here this morning. Okay, you guys, I am coming down to the end of the Q&A. I do have one more question here from Aaron. I probably have more questions, but here from Aaron Chase. Was Daniel's phone wiped? Yes, it was. Has the phone records been requested? I have the phone records. We already have. I don't have the request. One thing, it hadn't been requested by the Buckeye Police Department, as far as I know. They tell me they can't get one unless they get a warrant. And the only way they can get a warrant, a judge will give them a warrant, is if they make it a criminal case, which they're refusing to do. So if they say, hey, we got the phone records, and I think I did remember saying something like that, and we obtained phone records from the family. You didn't obtain nothing from me. That's a lie too. I don't know if they're using word games, but obtaining something meaning that we gave them something, right? I mean, I would take it as we gave them a physical copy of my son's phone records and his bank statements and stuff like that. They never asked a hard copy. Like I tell you guys again, we're sitting at a table across them in an interrogation room, and I'm literally holding this phone. Matter of fact, this phone here, and I'm strolling down the phone, my daughter too, or her phone, and showing them the banks. I'm showing the bank statement because my son had a bank statement with a bank that I work with, military, and I'm his sponsor. And also my daughter, with the cell phone. And they just, only thing we did is stroll down. They sit on the other side of the table and looking at it from on the other side of the table with us holding it in our hands. And they put in their report, we obtained phone records from the family. Like, you didn't obtain nothing. You didn't get nothing from us, from your visual. And I think that's the same approach they did when they say, well, we didn't see no blood in the vehicle. As long as they could see with their eyes, they could see or not see something without actually checking it. That's good enough for them. But that's not good enough for me. All right. Thank you, Stephanie, again for sharing Daniel's story. I really appreciate it for that. Sharing and being, I really thank you for being for the CrimeCon thing. Also, yeah, I mean, people out there was really, the whole CrimeCon thing was very helpful. I can't say it enough. It's a lot more like Sophia coming later on. We'll be providing some of those things that happen out there in the CrimeCon. My mind is tired. I'm tired, it was a long weekend. We did work hard out there. I mean, really hard. It wasn't a vacation out there either. We was actually working hard. I mean, like literally working hard. You guys from sun up, sun down. So there's a lot of work to that, So, all right. Thank you. Gotcha Cake. Thank you so much for being here this morning. First of all, on this Q&A question, have you checked his online history, his laptop? His social media activity. I'm thinking the people he interacted with, the things he searched for, anything like that. His phone was wiped. His Google history stuff was wiped. As in his personal computer, I have never touched his personal computer or his work computer and things like that. I never been in. I gave those things to my investigator time. And like I said, you guys, I don't know what he did with those things. He said he was doing some things with those computers and stuff like that. I have not ever seen a report yet from that, so I'm still waiting on that from him. Get some reports of what he found or what he didn't find and things like that. So those answers, I'm really working on that. I'm really, matter of fact, be calling him today to try to make sure he provide those type of information because he's a paid. No matter what you hear out there, he's a paid investigator. He got paid, and he needs to provide those things. So things that he said he did, and I was relying on him to do so. I do need those answers. I need those answers to what he found on things like that. That's what he got paid for, to give me answers to what what was found on these items. So that he found. So he went through them and things like that. From what I understand, he was telling me, and I need to find out those type stuff. So I don't have it right now. The answer to that one. All right, Brooklyn Michelle, thank you for praying. Thank you for continue to pray. I really appreciate you being here this morning. Let's see. I think I've said this before, but thank you again, Stephanie, for being here this morning. Thank you also, Laura, for being here this morning. And this is a question here. You guys have a question? Please put the word question there, followed by your question. Also the capital letter Q or big question mark. When will you be going out with searches and using ATVs? As soon as I get this funding back correctly, and also, basically, I believe I will be able to get the searches back up pretty soon. I have the foundation now, and so hopefully you can utilize those avenues to get the searches back up and rolling. Of course, ATV, UTVs are very important. We definitely need those out there. You guys that have that spam back out there, the moderators out there can see all the spam that's coming up there. If you guys can get rid of that for me, I really appreciate it. You can block this person or take those things off the comment section. I really appreciate it. Also, a question here from Dina. Thank you, Dina. I hope this doesn't come across wrong, but could it be so far-fetched to think that some kind of government involvement could be going on? That maybe Daniel stumbled across something he shouldn't have. You know, I hear that a lot. I hear that a lot from people, but I don't have an answer to that. But I do hear that a lot for people suggesting that. I'm not a person that's going to say that, but you know what? Like I said all the time when I'm here, I don't take anything out of the equation. But that's really far, far reach or whatever. I really don't know, and I really don't suspect that. But you never know. But like I said, I just don't rule nothing out. You never know in life how things work. But I don't know any answer to that one. But I can tell you that, like I said, as a father, I'm looking at every avenue I can to just find my son. I'm here to find Daniel, and that's my focus. But yes, I hear that question a lot. I have a lot of questions a lot. My son is a scientist. His job, like I say, is to check the viability of the wells. If those wells not producing that 100-year or so water, community, for instance, they have a Howard Hughes thing going on. They have, I think, Bill Gates or somebody else, one of those guys, was a part of that project or whatever. And I don't know. I don't know if that's a hindrance. If that, I know they've been trying to build communities out there in that area since the 80s, and I don't know the reasons why. I don't know if they had the water issues or what the reason why they couldn't do it. But that road that's out there, Sun Valley Parkway, was called the Road to Nowhere, because before they built this community called Surprise out there, there was nothing there out there in that desert. These little community that's coming up there to Tessa and some of these other communities out there on Sun Valley Parkway, there wasn't there, and they're having a hard time getting these things built. And I don't know if is it because of the water. Those wells that one of my son was working at is an old well, and the one that's north of there is not newer, but there's some older wells, and I don't know if they have something to do with anything that's slowing down those projects or not. I don't know. All I do know is that his job is very important. So, all right, I do have a question here from Laura. Laura, thanks so much. And I want to say these names also. Thank you, Laura, again. Will you be resuming ATV search? Oh, well, I think I asked that question. I will once I get the searches back up, and that's going to be, hopefully I'm working on to try to get the searches back up really soon here. It's not a permanent deal. I did have some people ask, am I? They thought I just closed the searches down. To stop the searches is stop looking for my son. I'm not stopped looking for my son. It's not going to happen. I had to put it on pause for now to get some other things straight. So, also, Kristen Lean, thank you so much for being here. Like, share, subscribe, you guys. I really appreciate you being out here. If you can go ahead and share this YouTube channel, that'll help. I do have a question here again from Laura. Are there any bodies of water he could be in? Well, I know of some bodies of water, but not as close to where he went missing. This area where they say he went missing, that's really, really close, other than the aqueducts that's running through there, the canal that running through that area, but it's a fence canal. That canal has fencing. I did go along those fences as much as I could, and to see if there's like a tear in the fence or something for a person to get in. I didn't see any of those. That's one of the biggest water sources I'll be worried about, as in the Hassayampa River and the Wagner Wash that runs through that area. It depends. A little bit of water is running during that time because of the light rains that come through there, so it get kind of damp and stuff like that. But I can't really say fully. I don't know of any significant water, because water just don't sit there forever. Those river bottoms usually be dry and things like that, but they run sometimes. It runs sometimes depending on how much water coming from upstate coming down those mountains and things and make it to that area. So things like that. So thank you also again, Stephanie, for being here. And thank you for your question, but thanks, Stephanie, for being here. You guys, I keep getting that spam down. The comment section, I don't know if y'all having a hard time getting rid of that, or you're not seeing it at all, but it's a lot of really not so good spam and things like that that's coming down the comment section. So you guys can help me out and get rid of it. I can't get rid of it. If I could from the StreamYard, I would, but it's there. So if you guys can do that for me, I really appreciate it. You have an amazing team. Yes, God, yeah, really do. We're seeing you. God was seeing you who you need, who you need when you need it. And you're right. Thank you, Justice for Georgia. First of all, for being here. You're right. That's exactly what happened. God bless you that I have a team now. Like I say, sometimes just doing this Q&A is very hard. Constantly being tired. Sometimes you guys can tell, but probably the way I'm speaking sometimes. I get tired, and but just have that team there to help me keep things straight. These people are dedicated, just like all the other volunteers. We're the ones that's out in the desert doing the things that we're doing out there in the desert, keeping the searches straight, like Mr. Short and his wife and Elaine and some of the other people, Rose and some of the other people out there, Margarita. And just everybody. I just want to say something because so many names, and then I miss somebody and say, "Hey, you didn't say nothing about me," But I have a lot of family members out there in that desert. Everybody, God send these people to help. Help in all kind of ways. Send you guys to help. Just being by here, being in Q&A, and helping in all kind of ways that you guys are helping. So God do send people that I need. So I am grateful for the team that I have. These people are dedicated, hard workers, and we put the foundation up and. I mean, you name it. Everything is coming together really smoothly, and we're just doing every effort we can to get things rolling. Keep hope alive. You will find Daniel praying. You will receive a miracle in Daniel's case, and I will receive that miracle. And I receive it now. I'm really grateful for you saying that. Thank you so much, Justice for Georgia, Leah Moses. And I don't know if that's your name. If that's someone that needs justice. If that is, I don't know that's the title saying that, but if I'm praying for you or that person that needs justice, if that's what the title is saying. So I'm assuming that. And saying so, like I said, everything that's happening here in this thing with Daniel is not just my family. We're not the only ones suffering and going through things. That's other families too, and I want to make sure I'll be able to say a thing. And if it is Justice for Georgia, something that you want to kind of spread awareness is, you can also always utilize this platform to do so. Just hit me up on the number that the number you see below, stroll on the screen there, and maybe I can get you on this Q&A. One morning you can talk about it. Tell your story. So anybody, so you guys have your story you want to tell. So please be mindful that that's options there for you too. Thank you, Wicked Crafter, for being here this morning. Word for Daniel, like I'm his mother. I think, Daniel is everybody's son. He's America's son. And then I say it over and over again. He's America's son because that's a lot of sons, a lot of daughters out there missing. And he's America's son, not just my son. You guys had took pride in like you were saying, there took pride and took it to heart. And I'm really grateful for you taking it to heart as Daniel is your own. And I'm really grateful for that because you know what, you show your passion, your empathy, and you put yourself in my family's and my and our shoes and how we feel. So I'm really grateful. Thank you so much, Rift the Crafter, for being here this morning. All right, Laura, gently again, thank you. You say you're in Mesa. Thanks so much for being here this morning, and I really appreciate it. I will. If you hit me up, I'm not sure if you did. On the 200 number that you see on the bottom screen, the 803-200-7994. If you have, I did. Hopefully, I spoke with you already in the on the phone there. So please, you can always text me on that number, and if I can get to you, when I get to you, I will. Sometimes it take me a few days or so. Sometimes it take me the same day. It depends. If you just happen to catch me the right time, I will answer. So. Thank you again for being here on this Q&A. All right, T. Sophia again. Did Daniel keep passcode locks on his electronic devices phone? Yes, he did. He sure did. That's one thing I think we all need to do. But yes, he did. For that question, yes, his things are pass protected. So thank you for that question. Let me see. I got Laura Gently Hobbs again. I thought it was a question. Thank you for OJ. You contacted Heavy D Sparks and his team. I appreciate that to bring some mining equipment. You said Heavy D Sparks. Okay, I thought it was somebody else. Okay, I thought you were talking about the other person, his team. Okay, but thank you for Heavy D Sparks and his team, YouTube, to bring some mining equipment to assist with searches. They do very well with mine exploring. Yes, the number below, Laura, if they can contact me there, I really appreciate it. We can set something up. I really appreciate it if they can do that. Also, Karina, thank you so much for sending your love from Sweden. Thanks so much for being part of the Q&A this morning. God bless you. Thank you again, Sophia, for being out here in the Q&A session, watching out for me. If you guys, I hope y'all guys can get that spam that was there. It's been really annoying just to see that. Karina, I have followed this case from the beginning when Gizla K presented it on the channel. Thank you so much. And the Gizla K, I just want to say again, I'm glad you brought her up. I brought her up in the Crime Con because, oh man, she wanted to be there too. But you know what? I'll tell you guys, Gizla K, has been definitely a champion. And she put this YouTube channel together for me. I told her what I wanted to do. She gave me all the tricks and trades that she have. She told me about StreamYard and to how to utilize other things to work this YouTube channel. She's the one who's been putting those. Once the video, for instance, was over here, for instance, she'll put those templates up and things like that, and put them in folders and all that kind of stuff. So she's been doing a whole lot, and it's amazes me when I talk to Gizla how she could do all this. Like this lady have she's like a whole bunch of people in one person or something. She's able to do a whole lot of things at the same time. So, and then she's doing it all the way from another country, so the Netherlands. She's all in the Netherlands and doing a whole lot of work here. So it's amazing to see her do those type things. So very talented lady. And thank you so much. I'm sure I don't know if you call yourself a Grizzlies, but I love the Grizzlies. So thank you so much for being here this morning, Karina. All right. And I think I have this here. Thank you, Justin for Georgia, Leah Moses. Thank you again for being here. I do have a question from Laura. They have not done full DNA analysis on his vehicle. They have not. And why not? I do not know why. I guess because they don't feel like my son's case is, in my opinion, is worth that. They feel like I said, the story they gave me was ridiculous. That's why I had to end up getting my own investigator, and also he's an estimate reconstructionist. It's ridiculous. They feel like it's not a criminal case. They'll look at the scene right here. I can imagine if it was their son, they would have looked at it differently. Of course, I'm going to be biased. He's supposed to be biased. He's my son. But anybody, I'm the only one that's seen that. I have people like yourselves out here that's listening to Q&A was telling me all day, hey, they look at the scene totally different from that department. The department, what they see is here, they said my son violently crashed that car. But they're going to make sure they ignore the fact that his rancher said that vehicle wasn't there 2 to 3 days prior. But to them, their excuse of not seeing this vehicle all this time, almost 30 days, is that the terrain is so lush and filled with greenery. And that's a lie, you guys. You can look at the picture. I can show you the drone footage in that area. The brush is going to come about right here to my chest. That vehicle is a lot taller. That's why you look at the picture behind me. You can see how the bushes right here that's in this picture is that size there. It's impossible to miss that from the air. And they say they use these helicopters and all this other stuff they claim they used. But no, they haven't done any kind of forensics on that scene because I feel like they, like I said, thinking that it wasn't worth it. It was worth it. Hey, my son wasn't worth it. That's how I take it. He don't matter to them. And the reason why I know he didn't matter to them, because like I said, the next day they threatened me and tell me I need to get that vehicle out of there. They're going to have it towed, and I had to pay storage fees. And then right after the meeting that we had 2 days or so after that, they gave me everything that you see on that scene in evidence bad marked for safekeeping, meaning that in their mind again, it tells their story. They tell their own story. from what they told me happened to the scene, and by them giving me things marked for safekeeping. Safekeeping means that he's, despite of what they said they think happened on the scene, he's coming back to get his things. Here it is, Mr. Robinson. This is your son's things. You're the custody of his things. Here is his things. Even though he's a grown man, here's his things, and we return those things over to you because he's gonna come back for his things. So it's not. They don't look at it as any kind of suspicious activity. They didn't look at it as any kind of criminality. They just look at it as, hey, this dude wrecked his vehicle and took off butt naked somewhere out there in the desert, and he's okay. With the brain injury that they described. So no, they didn't see a need to, in their own minds, to do any kind of forensics work. Like again, what y'all see in the report, don't get misled. They're not gonna say it because it'd be embarrassing them. Oh, the father had to request this fingerprinting. I did though. I did, and but that's the only reason why they did the fingerprinting. Mind you, I was before I asked for that fingerprinting, they told me I had 2 to 3 days. I had 3 days to get that vehicle out of there. Just so happened to have that meeting. If I didn't have that meeting, that vehicle would have been out of there. I would have had it towed somewhere. Don't know where. There would have been no fingerprinting done on it at all. It was only because I requested it. So here's the next question from Cassidy. How was Crime Con? Sorry, just came in. Crime Con was wonderful. I mean, I'm still tired from that, but it was wonderful. My team just came in. My team was reminding me that, we all going to put information up about Crime Con pretty soon. So I just wanted to tell you, I was thinking some of the people there at Crime Con that was helping at the beginning of this Q&A, helping me get Daniel's story out there, and they're going to help me in the background. I have so many people that reached out to me that want to be part of this case. I mean, using their expertise and things like that. Have some people that are going to have me on the shows and things like that to make awareness, and have some that actually donating and things like that for the foundation that we're doing. I mean, Crime Con was worth it. It was very much worth it. Like I said, it wasn't no vacation. You hear the word Vegas. The crazy part is, only time I ever been through Vegas is on business. I never stopped in Vegas to do anything in Vegas. And this time I thought it was kind of ironic. I was there in Vegas again. It couldn't do nothing in Vegas, but to be, there at the Crime Con and just to make sure I bring awareness to Daniel's case. So, that was where they had the event, and the event was because I guess it was there in Vegas. They had the I think it was the NFL draft there and some other things going on. Very crowded place. They gave us the opportunity to give out all these flyers from people all over the country. So I mean, I'm smiling because it's amazing. We took 12,000 flyers up there, and I'm telling you guys, y'all donating, and I would have those flyers. They're very, the whole network that God blessed to go find Daniel, to search for my son, came from you guys donating and helping me put those things together financially. And so, we was able to get those flyers out. Was able to talk to a lot of people. Like I said, I was able to talk on stage about Daniel's story among thousands of people there. And also, the event was very, very successful. So I'm really grateful for Crime Con to even have me out there on their platform. They didn't have to do that, but they decided to do it and have me be a part of that platform to be able to I'll tell Daniel's story. So thank you so much for asking. Thank you so much for asking. So I hope, hopefully, this is not last time I'm out on Crime Con. And this time, I hope I'm there to promote, promote the foundation and helping other families find their loved ones. So thank you again. All right. Thank you, T. Sophia, for your question. Was Daniel, by chance, a person who enjoyed camping? I almost think he went camping once. With his friends. He had a lot of friends, as in him going camping a lot. No, he never described he ever been camping at all. I'm just assuming that he been once. And the reason why I say that because I seen a picture of him with his friends, and he did say he's going out with his friends to a trip. And I knew there's actually camping. I did see some tents in the background, so I'm assuming they probably did a little bit of camping because he do some hiking and he go hang out with his friends, and they do some things in the past. Overnight and things like that out there somewhere doing the things. But he, like I said, Daniel always gonna tell us where he's going and what he's doing and things like that. Out of myself, his siblings, his mother, tell us what he's doing. So, and then he said, if so, did he have any missing camping equipment? No, now that's one thing I know he didn't have. He didn't have any camping equipment. So, but I think if he did go camping, he went with his friends. I'm trying to understand the purpose of the girl having his canopy in her possession. The canopy is used at his job. This is a desert right here. Daniel used that canopy to keep the sun off him. What he does, he sit at these well sites. The canopy just sits up. This is a shade. That's all it is a shade for him. And he took that. And I do want to know why he. I was thinking the same thing you thinking, T. Sophia. I talked to my son. I told you we have our 2-hour conversations when we do talk. And one thing he did mention, he left his canopy in her backyard. And when he was telling me that, I didn't cut him off in his comment. But I was thinking in my head at the time, like, what are you doing with a canopy? What y'all doing with the canopy in the backyard? It was kind of weird to me to hear that he had his canopy in the backyard. I was like, why do you need a canopy? And the way he made it sound like, hey, you spent a night there. It was at night. So in my mind, thinking that all this was happening at night. And I was wondering why the canopy was in the backyard. Maybe he spent the whole day there. I don't know. But the way the story was, he's telling me he was, delivering them some wine. And so I'm assuming the way he's explaining it to me, it was nighttime. So by the way, they had a canopy, I do not know why it was back there. All right. Okay. Art's bookworm. Thank you for being here this morning for this Q&A. I really appreciate you coming out. All right. I think that'll probably be it. Thank you also, Aaron Chase, again, for being here. Thank you. I really appreciate it. For your comments and things like that. Yeah, I'm going to look into a lot of things, but thank you also, whoever the spam person is. Thank you for your comments. So thank you, Stephanie, for your question. Were you able to be able to connect with other families of missing persons? I did with the Petito family. Her father reached out to me. I won't say contacted, but reached out to me. And let me know he was sharing Daniel's story. I really appreciate the Petito family for that. They're really being kind to do that, especially when they was already going through their pain. They decided to reach out like that. So yeah, I do connect with other families. I have one in Florida that's very dear to me. Well, I know 2 that's in Florida, but one is in particular. And there's other families. Yeah, I connect to a lot of families who have missing others. And that's where my passion came from to be a founder of the Daniel Robinson Foundation, is because of my passion for other families who are going through the same thing that I'm going through. It hurt me. It hurt me that to see another family had to suffer the way I had to, me and my family had to suffer, where I had to go and fight for 3 months, for instance, just to get media coverage. And also to get a department to do the right things and things like that, and to have to go out and ask for funding just to do a search and things like that. So just try to help release some of that pressure for other families. That's what what the foundation for. That's how I became passionate by hearing other families' story that I connected with and stuff like that. So yeah, it's very important to me to hear their stories. I hope, and I do have one family, like I said, from Florida. Waiting on her to make her decision. She said she'd get back with me. I'm trying to have her here on the Q&A to tell her brother's story. So hopefully she'll call me pretty soon. Or I'm gonna call her. We check on each other, and hopefully she want to come out and tell his story to help bring some awareness to his case, and also any other family. That's this platform is for. It's not for entertainment or thing like that. It's for my son. He's been missing, and also to be able to help other families. So. Thank you for your question. All right. I do have one from Nikki O'Shea. I know my team is killing me right now. May I ask, were the human remains that were found by you and your volunteers found in the area where Daniel Jeep was found? Yes, it was. One was found near the well site. The other ones were found, yes, near to where the Jeep was located. That's why I'm telling you guys, my son went missing in a crime scene area. That's what I call it. Anytime you can find human remains in the area where a person was missing, there should be a look into. That's what I call it for the FBI. That's what was part of the letter I sent to the Chief Hall that time was, hey, the fact that my son was missing in the crime scene, here he is. I'm from South Carolina, started my searches out here, got the volunteers on the ground. We're finding human remains out there. And yes, that's a crime scene. The whole area out there should be checked very thoroughly by the FBI and whoever authorities, because Buckeye obviously don't have the funding or something, don't have the manpower. It's supposed to be a small department and things like that. Somebody need to be out there doing their job and find out what's going on there. Maybe they know what's going on in that area, and like some would suggest that maybe they're stepping back because of those things that's going on in the area, and the reasons why I find it so hard to find out what happened to my son. Thank you. You guys can like, share, and subscribe to this subscribe to this YouTube channel. I really appreciate it. If you guys, I see a lot of spam in this Q&A, so you guys, if you see a lot of that, I apologize. I do have moderators, and I was hoping they can catch it. Maybe they can't see those things, but I'm really grateful for you guys being patient. If you see those things, please ignore it, and we're just gonna keep moving on. But I am going to end this Q&A today. I really thank you guys. I will be back on Wednesday for the Q&A at 6:30 in the morning. I have also prime time, and we'll be talking about more about the Crime Con event. I will have those things together. Hopefully I have more video and more information about everything that happened at Crime Con for you guys. So thank you so much. And thank you, Laura, for saying that, because, I was worried about that. I can see it on my end. You cannot see the spam. So thank you. It was on the YouTube side of things. So I think, saying on the YouTube side. So thank you so much. For putting that comment up there. So thanks so much. God bless you guys. I really thank you again. I think, like I said, everybody who's been participating, like, sharing, and subscribing to the channel to keep it going. So I really thank you guys for being part of this Q&A. I love you all. I thank you. Like I said, I love you guys for all your help. Thank you for your support. I just can't say it enough. I can't do this without you guys. So every time you come along, I'm feeling really grateful. That's probably why it's hard for me to get off. And I know my team is screaming at me right now. I can't hear them, but I can feel them that I need to get off. But I am getting off now. So God bless you guys. I love you. Talk to you later.